My boss walked into my office at 9:30 at night, dropped a thick folder on my desk, and said, "Word for word, I need a husband by tomorrow." That was the moment my brain stopped and my training kicked in. I am a fixer. Companies call me when their brand is on fire and their board is already looking up bankruptcy lawyers. I am good at crisis plans, damage control, and getting powerful people to stop doing stupid things in public. I am not good at surprise proposals from the woman who signs my invoices. I looked from the folder to her face. Elena Sterling, owner of Sterling Harbor Hotels, stood in my doorway in a black coat that still held a few drops of rain. Her dark hair was pulled back, but a few pieces had escaped and curled around her jaw. Her lipstick was gone. Her eyes were sharp and a little wild. I had seen her angry. I had seen her bored. I had seen her slice a man in half in a boardroom with 3 calm sentences. I had never seen her scared. I pushed my chair back and stood up. "Talk to me," I said, slowly. She stepped inside and shut the door. The sound was soft, but it felt final. No assistants, no legal team. Just her and me, and the kind of silence that means everything you say next matters. "The board vote moved," she said. "Tomorrow, at midnight. If I am not married by then, the grandfather clause in my father's will expires. Julian gets control of the hotels. I get whatever he decides to leave me. Her cousin. The charming snake in the perfect suits. I had already flagged him as a problem in my first week on the job. I opened the folder. Legal language stared back at me. Grandfather clause. Marital status. Control of operating assets. The words might as well have been brass knuckles. "Who else knows about this?" I asked. "My attorney," she said. "Julian. The board chair. That is it. Not the staff. Not the press. Not the public. If this leaked, the stock would dive before sunrise. You hired me to fix your union press mess," I said. "This is not PR. This is probate law." "I know," she said. "That is why I am here. I do not need a statement. I need a proxy. A husband on paper. A signature that locks Julian out." She said it like it was a business transaction, but her hand on the back of the chair was white-knuckled. "You are asking me to help you find someone," I said slowly. Her eyes met mine. "No, I am asking you." The air in the room got heavy. For a second I could hear the rain against the high windows and the faint hum of the building's night cycle. Somewhere down the hall a printer clicked. Someone laughed near the elevators. In here, it all sounded far away. "You understand what Julian will do with this?" I said. "He will claim fraud. He will say you married a stranger to block him out of the will. He will drag both of us through every court he can find. He already wants to drag me," she said, jaw tight. "This just gives me a chance to hit back. You could walk out of this office," I said. "I will still connect you with the best estate lawyer I know. No charge, no strings." Her chin lifted. "I did not come here for a referral, Caden." The way she said my name hit lower than it should have. I leaned back against the desk and crossed my arms. "You are my client," I said. "There is a power issue here. If I say yes, it is not, because you sign my checks. You keep full agency. You can fire me tomorrow. You can decide you hate this and walk. I still help you clean it up." Her eyes searched my face like she was looking for the hidden clause. "Full agency," she repeated. "Always," I said. She let out a breath I did not know she was holding. Then she said it again, a little softer. "I need a husband by tomorrow." "Then you need a plan by tonight," I said. My voice dropped without me meaning to. "Come over," she blinked, "to your place." "Your office is a fishbowl," I said. "Julian has friends on 3 floors and cameras in the lobby. If we are going to do something reckless, we do it somewhere he cannot read our faces." She hesitated for one long second. I saw all the reasons she should say no pass behind her eyes. Reputation. Risk. Pride. Then she nodded once. Clean. Decisive. Like signing a term sheet on a company you are willing to bet your life on. "Give me an hour," she said. "My loft in the West Loop. was a different world from her glass tower. Exposed brick, old wood beams, concrete floors, tall windows with a view of train tracks and distant lights. No marble, no staff, just a worn leather couch, a big wooden table covered in folders, and the faint smell of coffee and sawdust. I had just finished clearing legal files off the table when the buzzer rang. I opened the door. Elena stood in the hallway with her coat pulled tight and rain in her hair. The city lights behind her turned the water drops into small sparks. "You walked," I said. "Your street is a parking nightmare," she said. It was easier. I stepped aside. "Come in." She crossed the threshold like she was entering neutral ground. Her eyes took in everything fast. The stacked books, the half-eaten takeout on the counter, the spare jacket hanging on the back of a chair, the absolute lack of anything that looked like it belonged to a second person. "You live like you always expect to leave," she said. "That is my job," I answered. "Fix and go." Her gaze flicked to the corner where my suitcase sat half open from my last trip, then to the laptop on the table, where a small notification still glowed on the screen. "Avery Klein, New York." Subject line: "Partner track. Quick call." I closed the laptop with 2 fingers. "Work," I said. "Not tonight." She watched me for a moment, but she let it go. She shrugged off her coat. Underneath, she wore a simple, dark dress I had never seen her wear to the office. Nothing flashy, just clean lines and bare shoulders and a small silver chain at her throat. She looked less like a billionaire and more like a woman who had run out of safe options. I pulled out a chair for her. She sat. I stayed standing for a second, getting my head straight. "Okay," I said. "If we do this, we do it boring. No surprises after the fact. We talk through everything now." "Boring sounds nice," she said. "For once." I sat across from her. The folder from her office lay between us like a live wire. "First question," I said. "Are you asking me to marry you because you trust me or because you ran out of names?" Her eyes did not flinch. "Both," she said. "I trust you. And I ran out of names." It was a terrible answer. It was also honest. "Good," I said. "Then we start there. You are not trapped. You are choosing. If we sign anything, it is with both eyes open." She lifted her hand like she wanted to reach across the table, then stopped halfway and curled her fingers into a fist instead. "What do you need from me?" she asked. "For tonight," I said. "The truth. All of it. About Julian. About the clause. About what happens if we fail." "And tomorrow?" she asked. "Tomorrow," I said, holding her gaze. "We see if you still want to walk into City Hall with me." Her throat moved as she swallowed. For a second, the hard edges around her eyes softened. Then she nodded and pulled the folder closer. "Tell me where to start," she said. "Start with what you are afraid of," I answered. The clock on the wall ticked past 10. The rain hit the windows harder. Somewhere in the city, Julian was probably pouring a drink and planning his speech for the board. Across from me, my boss took a breath, dropped the last of her armor, and began. The first thing she admitted was that she was tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kind that lives in your bones and in the space between your ribs. "Julian has been waiting for this," she said. Her fingers smoothed a crease in the legal paper. "My father built the grandfather clause because he thought I would marry someone safe by now. Julian thinks that if I do not, he is the safe choice." "He is not safe," I said. "He is predictable," she answered. "To them, that looks the same." She walked me through the details. The will. The clause that said control stays with the direct line if the heir is married by a certain age. The age she hit last week. The board vote her cousin had pushed forward. The way he had charmed her parents into seeing him as the steady one. "He is already talking about selling 3 properties," she said. "Staff, families, pensions. They are numbers to him, they are not numbers to me." I watched her face when she said that. That was the core. Not the money. Not the name on the hotels. The people. "Okay," I said. "If we say yes to this, we do it in 3 lanes. Legal. Optics. Private." She lifted an eyebrow. "Break it down." "Legal first," I said. We need a marriage that can stand in court if Julian screams fraud. That means no secret Vegas trip, no backdated paperwork. We sign in daylight. We register it. We give the estate attorney copies. We let boring people watch. Optics, she said. We need the world to see us together in a way that looks real and not rushed, I said. One controlled public sighting minimum. Photos that show something human, not a press release. Something messy and normal. Her mouth twitched. I am very bad at messy and normal. I know, I said. That is why I am here. And private, she said quietly. That is you and me, I said. We need rules. Clear ones. You are my client. And I am not using this to get leverage over you. You are not using this to own me. We protect each other or we do not do it. She sat back in the chair and studied me. You are talking like you have already decided, she said. I have not, I said. I am talking like the man who will be standing next to you if you decide. For the first time that night, she smiled. It was small and tired, but it was real. You have a lawyer who will hate this, she said. I do, I said. His name is Marcus. He yells at me for a living. Call him, she said. I put my phone on speaker. The first ring barely finished before he picked up. If this is not life or death, Marcus said, I am hanging up. It might be both, I said. He swore once under his breath. I heard the sound of a chair scraping back. Tell me. I kept it simple. The clause, the deadline, the cousin, the idea. No, Marcus said, that is my legal opinion. No. We are not asking your opinion, I said. We are asking for a path that does not end with handcuffs. You marry your client on paper just to lock out an heir, Marcus said. Every judge in the state will smell motive. You know how this looks. She will marry someone, I said. Julian. Or a stranger he picks. Or me. At least if I am the one. She is not alone and I am not on his payroll. There was a long pause. Marcus let out a breath. Put her on, he said. Elena leaned closer. This is Elena, she said. Ms. Sterling, he said. I admire your hotels. I dislike your plan. Noted, she said. If you do this, he went on, you do it boring. City Hall. Daytime. Witnesses who do not owe you money. You sign a prenup that protects your staff and your assets and states clear intent. No secret side deals. Done, she said. And Caden moves in, Marcus added. I frowned. That is not a requirement. It is, he said. If you want this to look real, you share an address, utility bills, mail, routines. Otherwise, Julian will pull your cell records and laugh in court. Elena was quiet for a second. Then she said, Fine. Marcus sighed. I will draft what I can tonight. Get to City Hall first thing. Send me photos. No kissing for cameras, but no distance. The call ended. The loft fell quiet again. So, she said, that is the plan. That is the outline, I said. We still have to choose. She pushed back from the table and stood. Her hand rested on the back of the chair for balance. Are you in, Caden? She asked. Or do I need to find a different name? I stood too. We were close enough now that I could see the tiny freckle near her left eye I had never noticed in the office. You are my client, I said. I am supposed to stay clean. Fix the fire and leave. I know, she said. I looked at the folder. I thought about the staff I had met in her hotels, night managers who sent her their kids, school photos, housekeepers who greeted her by first name. I thought about Julian, with his easy smile and his dead eyes. Then I thought about the email in my laptop. New York. A job that would pay me enough to walk away from all of this. I can leave, I said slowly. Sit on a plane and pretend I never saw how hard you fight for people who will never see your bank account. Her throat moved. And if you stay, she asked. If I stay, I said, I stand next to you. In front of cameras. In front of Julian. In front of anyone who tries to break you. and I live with whatever comes after." Her eyes did not move from mine. The fear was still there, but something else wrapped around it now. Something like hope, but sharper. "Then stay," she said. City Hall in the morning looked nothing like her world. Fluorescent lights, scuffed floors, a line of people holding forms and wearing everything from hoodies to sparkly dresses. A bored clerk behind glass. Elena stood beside me in a simple cream coat and a charcoal dress that hit just above her knees. No press, no parents, just her and me and the paper in her hand. She looked more nervous here than she had in any boardroom I had ever seen. "You can still walk away," I said, low. She shook her head. "I made my choice last night. When they called our number, we stepped up together." "Names," the clerk said. "We gave them." The pen was cheap and the ink skipped when I signed. It did not feel like any wedding I had ever seen, but the weight of it sat in my chest anyway. We swapped simple bands Marcus had sent by courier at sunrise. Silver. No diamonds. No flashy proof of wealth. Just metal and intent. When I slid the ring onto her finger, her hand trembled once. Then she tightened her grip and it stopped. The judge read the standard words. "Do you take? Do you promise? Do you understand?" I looked at Elena when I said I do. Not at the paper. Not at the judge. She looked back at me when she said the same words. Her eyes were clear. No flinch. No blush. Just a steady, quiet yes. We stepped out onto the sidewalk into cold wind and bright light. The first camera flash hit before my eyes adjusted. Two men with long lenses stood by the curb. One shouted her name. The other called mine. A black car across the street rolled down its window 2 inches. I would have bet money Julian was behind the glass. "Smile," I said through my teeth. Elena stiffened. Her hand went for my arm without thinking. I wrapped my arm around her waist, pulling her against my side in one smooth move. Not possessive, protective, clear. We walked together down the steps while the shutters snapped. She lifted her chin. She did not hide. She let them see the ring. In the reflection of a parked car window, we looked like exactly what we were pretending to be. A couple who had just done something big and a little crazy. In my chest, something shifted. Pretending felt less simple than it had last night. The car door opened. Our driver, one of Elena's regulars, waited with a blank face, like this was any other day. Inside, with the doors shut and the city noise muffled, Elena slumped for half a second. Then she straightened. "It is done," she said. "The easy part is done," I said. "Now we move in." Her head turned fast. "To my place, or to mine, to yours," I said. "Julian is watching you, not me. The staff sees everything. If your guest room stays empty, they will know." She closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, they were steady again. "We go tonight," she said. "Tonight?" I agreed. I reached over and took her hand on the seat between us, not because the cameras were still out there, because I could feel the tremor starting again. Her fingers tightened around mine. She did not let go. Nora knew something was different before I carried a single bag into the penthouse. House managers always know. She met us at the private elevator in her navy dress and soft-soled shoes, hands folded, expression neutral in that way that sees everything. "Miss Sterling, Mr. Vance," she said. "Welcome home." Elena stepped out first. Her fingers brushed my sleeve, the smallest contact, asking if I was still with her. I stayed close enough that Nora could see the ring on my hand and on Elena's. Nora's gaze dropped to our hands, then back to our faces. One thin line of surprise showed at the corner of her mouth before it vanished. "Will Mr. Vance be requiring a guest room prepared?" she asked. Elena hesitated. This was the test. Staff talk. Driver's talk. If the guest room was made up fresh, it would go straight down the quiet phone line that reached the board. "No," Elena said. "His things go in my room." Something in Nora's posture relaxed. "Of course," she said. "I will have your closet adjusted." She walked ahead of us, already issuing silent instructions through the house with small gestures and short texts. Lights shifted. The temperature softened. A bed somewhere upstairs was being edited around a second person. In the master bedroom, the city lay outside the glass wall, cold and distant. Inside, there was a king bed with white sheets, a soft gray headboard, and one perfect line of pillows. Not for long. 2 of my shirts from the garment bag went into her closet beside her black suits and cream blouses. My shaving kit landed in the second sink. My watch sat on the dresser next to a jewelry tray, holding 3 rings, none of them from me. The place still smelled like her sandalwood and high-end laundry soap. The only sign I belonged there was the way her eyes tracked me as I moved. "This feels staged," she said quietly. "It is staged," I said. "That is the point. That is not what I mean." I turned. She was standing at the foot of the bed, arms folded, bare feet sinking into the rug. For the first time since I had met her, she looked small in a room that was hers. "I have never shared this space," she said. "Not with anyone, not overnight, not even when I was engaged." "You did not live together?" I asked. "We had a date for the wedding and a designer for the house," she said. "Not a real plan for being in the same room at midnight when the work was done." I walked to my side of the bed and dropped my duffel on the bench. "We will not fake that part," I said. "We will not pretend history we do not have. We have this. Today. City Hall. The car. This room." She watched me unpack in silence. T-shirts, jeans, a worn sweatshirt, things that did not match the polished lines of her life. When I finished, I pulled one pillow and set it sideways between our usual spots. A simple cotton border. "What is that?" she asked. "The line," I said. "Until you decide it is not needed." Her mouth twitched. "You make everything sound like an exit clause." "I make everything sound like consent," I said. She sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the pillow. Then she toed off her heels and climbed under the duvet on her side, still in her dress. She lay on her back, eyes on the ceiling. "You sleep on the left, right?" I asked. She nodded. "Good. I am a right side person." "You have charts for that too," she murmured. "Maybe," I said. That pulled a small laugh out of her. It was quiet, but it was real. Nora tapped gently on the doorframe. "Dinner is ready whenever you wish," she said. Elena sat up. "Thank you, Nora." Nora's eyes flicked from our faces to the bed. 2 phone chargers now hung from the nightstands. My watch was still on the dresser. The extra pillow sat like a flag. Her gaze softened for half a second. "Congratulations," she said. It sounded sincere. "Thank you," Elena replied. When Nora left, Elena exhaled. She looked at me. "Stage 1, she said. "Stage 1, I agreed." We ate in the dining room at the smaller table by the windows instead of the long, formal one. No staff, no guests, just salmon, roasted vegetables, and a bottle of white wine. Halfway through her plate, Elena set down her fork. "We need a public sighting," she said, "before Julian does it for us." "Dinner out," I said. "Somewhere that feels normal." "I do not really do normal dinners," she said. "I know a place that does," I said. The restaurant I picked was in the West Loop, a place with brick walls, warm lighting, and more couples than business meetings. No private room. No PR manager to stage anything. Our driver pulled up to the curb. Cameras were already there. Julian's leak machine was faster than I liked. As soon as Elena stepped out in her simple black dress and wool coat, the flashes started. Questions flew. Some polite, some not. "Is this rushed, Miss Sterling? Who is he? When did you start dating?" Her hand found my arm on instinct. I tucked her closer to my side and walked us inside, without shoving, without snapping. Control sells better than anger. At the table by the window, a small glass vase held 3 red roses. "You planned this," she said, sitting down. "No," I said. "The restaurant did. But I am not mad about it." She rolled her eyes, but a real smile tucked into the corner of her mouth. Our waiter pretended not to recognize her, which meant he had definitely recognized her. I ordered for us when she hesitated. 1 steak, 1 pasta, 1 shared plate of fries. Simple things. Human things. 10 minutes into dinner, Elena's shoulders dropped half an inch. The tension around her mouth eased. She talked about the first hotel her parents bought when she was a teenager. I told her about the first crisis job I ever took in a strip mall when I was 23. Outside, I saw the glow of camera screens on the glass. I lifted my hand across the table and let it rest, palm up. "We need one good shot," I said. "One that looks soft instead of defensive." She looked at my hand like it was a live wire. Then she put her hand in mine, fingers threading with intent, not accident. Her thumb brushed my knuckles once. A small, grounding move. I felt it everywhere. "Hold it," I said quietly. "I am holding," she answered. A flash went off outside. Then, another. In the reflection, it could have been a real date. Two people holding hands over roses. Not because of a clause, but because they wanted to. Later that night, back in the penthouse, Elena stood at the bedroom window, city lights reflecting off the glass. "Julian will be furious," she said. "Good," I said, pulling off my tie. "Let him waste energy on that." She turned. The lamp by her side of the bed cast a warm circle around her. It made the sharp lines of her face softer. "You are calm," she said. "I am not calm," I said. "I am focused." Tomorrow he starts pushing back. Freezes. Motions. Letters. We cannot control when he hits. We can control how solid we are when he does. "We," she repeated. "Yes," I said. She looked at the bed and at the pillow line. Then she crossed the room, turned off the lamp, and got in on her side. In the dark, we lay on our backs, a foot and a pillow apart. After a while, she said, very quietly, "Caden, yeah? If this blows up, you lose more than a contract." "I know." "And you stayed anyway," she said. I let out a breath. I did. The mattress shifted. Her hand moved across the pillow. Her fingers brushed my forearm, light as a question. I did not move toward her. I just turned my hand palm up and let it rest there. She slid her fingers into mine and held on. This time, she did not let go when she fell asleep. Julian did not come with yelling. He came with paper. By 9 the next morning, his lawyers had filed a motion to freeze 3 operating accounts and demand a review of the inheritance transfer. They used the word fraud twice in the first paragraph. Marcus showed up at the penthouse with dark circles under his eyes and a folder under his arm. "Conference room in 30, he said. "They want to question you both. Privately first, then together." He glanced at Elena. "He will try to rattle you. Do not let him." She nodded once, already in a black dress and low heels, hair pulled back hard. Only the tightness around her mouth gave her away. The Sterling boardroom felt colder than usual. 3 lawyers on Julian's side. 1 estate attorney for the family. A stenographer. Julian himself in a navy suit that probably had his name stitched inside. They called me in first. The questions started simple. "Where did you live before the marriage, Mr. Vance?" "West Loop Loft," I said. "North Canal. Lease under my name." I recited the address. "Rent. Square footage. When did you first meet Ms. Sterling?" "Last year. She hired me to manage the fallout from a labor dispute at the Lakeshore property." "When did the relationship become romantic?" I held the lawyer's gaze. "We signed the license yesterday." The feelings did not care about the ink. She blinked at that, but kept going. "What side of the bed do you sleep on?" "Right," I said. "She sleeps on the left." "What tea does she drink at night?" "Peppermint after 9. Coffee in the morning. Black, no sugar." They took notes. The stenographer's keys clicked steady. Then the lead attorney slid a printout across the table. It was a photo of me in a hotel lobby bar 2 weeks ago. A woman in a blazer sat across from me, portfolio open. The kind of headhunter who never drinks the cocktail in front of her. Beneath it, they had printed an email header. To Caden Vance. Subject, New York offer packet. "You were planning to leave Chicago," the attorney said. "Partner track in New York. Convenient that you suddenly married into an estate right before this vote." I felt my shoulders go tight. This was what Julian wanted. A narrative. "I was considering a move," I said. "Before this. "And now?" she asked. "Now I am here," I said. "For how long, Mr. Vance? As long as she wants me." They did not like that answer. It did not fit clean in a box. They brought Elena in next. I watched through the glass as she sat, back straight, hands laced on the table. Julian looked at her like a cat looks at a bird it used to own. "When did you first meet Mr. Vance?" they asked. She gave them the same answer I had. Same dates, same sequence. "What side of the bed does he sleep on?" "Right," she said. "I sleep on the left." She did not even think about it. "What is his tell when he lies?" one of the lawyers asked. "He goes very still," she said. "He stops moving his hands." They slid her the same hotel photo. "You knew about this, Miss Sterling?" the attorney asked. She stared at the image. Her jaw tightened. "No," she said. Her voice did not shake. "But it does not surprise me. He is a fixer. Fixers move on." Julian smiled at that, small and satisfied. They brought us together for the last round. I sat beside her, not touching, not leaning away, just present. "Miss Sterling," the estate attorney said, "Mr. Vance had plans to leave this city. Does that change your view of this marriage?" She did not look at me when she answered. "It changes how much of it is mine to carry," she said. My hand curled under the table. I wanted to reach for her. I did not. The questioning ended. No dramatic gavel. No verdict. Just a promise of further review and a warning that the board vote could proceed under reservation. In the elevator down, the doors closed. The silence pressed in. "You were leaving," she said. Her eyes were on the polished steel, not on me. "I was looking at my options," I said quietly. "Before any of this. Before you walked into my office and dropped your life on my desk." She nodded once. It made sense on paper. It still hurt. "And now?" she asked. "Now the option looks different," I said. She finally turned. There was anger in her eyes, but under it, something worse. A familiar kind of disappointment. The kind you have when you realize you may have trusted one more person than you should. "Get me through the vote," she said. "Then we will talk about New York." She walked out of the elevator without waiting for a reply. The gala was that night. Someone on the board had decided a charity ball should go on even with a fraud allegation hanging in the air. Investors needed calming. The press needed a show. The ballroom was all gold light and polished crystal. Live jazz, waiters in black, money in every corner. Elena walked in wearing a deep green dress that made half the room turn and stare. Her back was bare, her hair pinned up, her earrings small. She looked like a woman who did not need anyone. Her fingers still found mine as we stepped onto the floor. For an hour, we played our parts. Smiles, handshakes, posed photos. Elena talked about community outreach. I talked about operational stability. I could feel Julian circling without seeing him. He took the stage near the end of the night. Of course he did. Microphone in hand, smile in place. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "as you know, the Sterling name has always stood for integrity." I felt Elena's hand tighten around my arm. "Which is why," he went on, "we must address certain rumors. About rushed marriages. Conflicted advisors." He paused, just long enough for every phone to lift. He held up a folder. "In my hand," he said, "is a draft agreement between my cousin and her crisis manager. An agreement that lays out fees contingent on securing control of the estate through marriage." Gasps. Low murmurs. A few delighted laughs in the back. He looked at Elena with faux sadness. "Tell them it is not true, Lena." She stood very still. For a heartbeat. For two. Then she let go of my arm and walked up the steps. Julian's smile widened. He held the folder a little higher, ready to watch her fall in front of her own guests. Elena reached him. She did not take the microphone. She took the folder. She opened it. Skimmed the first page. We both knew what it was. Marcus's original draft of the postnup. The one we had never signed. She closed it again. "You forgot a word," she said into the microphone. Her voice carried clear and calm. The room went silent. "You called this a contract," she went on. "It is not. It is a draft. An idea. One we did not sign." She lifted her left hand. The ring caught the chandelier light. We did not sign it, she repeated, because he refused to tie his fees to my inheritance. Every head in the room turned to me. I felt the weight, but I did not move. He has many frustrating things, Elena said. Reckless, blunt, annoyingly honest. A few nervous laughs broke around the room. But he is not for sale, she added. Julian stepped closer, too close. The microphone caught his whisper. You are making a mistake. Elena turned her head so the whole room could hear. The only mistake I made, she said, was giving you this much power over my life. She held up the folder, then tore it clean in half. Paper ripped. The sound was sharp in the quiet. If you want the hotels, she said to the board, you can vote. If you want the clause voided, you can fight that in court, but leave him out of it. He did not ask for this. I did. Then she did something that made Julian's face go pale. She looked down at me. Caden, she said, come here. My legs moved before my brain did. I walked up the steps and stopped beside her. She looked at the crowd. You want to know why I married him, she asked. It is not because he is convenient. It is because when my world started to tilt, he was the only one who did not push. He just planted his feet and let me lean. My throat tightened. The room blurred at the edges. Julian snorted into the mic. That is a nice speech for a man who had a one-way ticket to New York in his inbox, he said. The air left my lungs. Elena's head snapped toward me. Her eyes searched my face. Not the room. Not Julian. Me. Is that true? She asked. I could have lied. I could have spun it. I did neither. Yes, I said. The mic picked it up. Every phone in the room heard it. The ticket is still there, I added. I have not used it. You were going to, Julian crowed. Maybe, I said. Before this. Before her. The ballroom waited for her reaction. Elena looked at me for a long moment. Then she turned back to the mic. Here is the difference between you and me, Julian, she said. You think a plan is a prison. I think it is a door. She nodded toward me. He had a door out, she said. He chose not to use it. I swallowed hard. I pulled my phone from my pocket, unlocked it, opened the email with the flight confirmation, the offer packet, all of it. I held the screen up so she could see. Her eyes flicked down. Read. Understood. Then, with my thumb, I hit delete. The confirmation popped up. Are you sure? Yes, I said. Out loud. To the phone. To her. To myself. I confirmed. Gone. Elena watched my face, not the screen. Good, she said softly. Then she leaned in and pressed her forehead against mine for just a second. Not a staged kiss. Not yet. Just contact. Human and steady. She turned back to the board. You can question my judgment, she said. You can question my marriage. You can even question my math. She almost smiled at that. But you do not get to question his integrity to hurt me. She stepped back from the mic and wrapped her hand around mine. We left the stage together. The board voted the next morning. Julian's motion to freeze the accounts failed, 5-3. He kept his shares for now, but he lost his committee seats. Controls shifted. Oversight tightened. His power to unilaterally liquidate properties vanished. Elena stayed in her chair. After the meeting, the others filtered out. Paper shuffled. Doors closed. The room thinned to just us and Marcus. You bought yourself time, Marcus said. It is not over, but he cannot gut the place while you sleep. Elena nodded. Marcus looked at me. You realize you just lit your career napkin on fire, he said. I shrugged. I was tired of paper planes. He shook his head, but there was a hint of a smile. Do not make me defend you in front of a judge and your wife at the same time, he said. I do not get paid enough for that emotional labor. He left us in the empty boardroom. For a minute, we did not speak. Then Elena walked to the window and leaned her hand against the glass. The city moved below. Cabs, people, jobs that did not depend on this vote. I came up beside her. You still mad? I asked. Yes, she said honestly. You scared me. I know. You made plans to run without telling me, she said. That is not what a unit does. I winced. I am sorry, I said. No spin, No defense. Just that. I am sorry. She let that sit in the air. Then she turned. You deleted it, she said. I did. On stage, she added. In front of everyone. I figured witnesses were good, I said. Her mouth finally curved. You really do think in terms of evidence. It is how I know what is real, I said. She took a step closer. Then look at this, she said. She set her hand against my chest, over my heart. Firm. Warm. I am not asking you to save me, Caden, she said. I am asking you to stay. My hand found her waist. Familiar now. Respectful. Solid. For how long, I asked. She lifted her chin. For real, she said. I kissed her. Not a careful press for cameras. Not a quick brush in a hallway. A slow, sure kiss that tasted like relief and peppermint and the end of a long war. Her fingers curled into my shirt. She kissed me back like a woman who had chosen this with her eyes open. Weeks later, the headlines had moved on. The board meetings got boring again. Boring was good. Boring meant nobody was trying to burn the place down. We moved my work out of the consultancy and into a small office off the main hotel. Sign on the glass. Sterling Vance Risk. Elena claimed the desk by the window. I claimed the one facing the door. One night, long after the staff had gone home, she came in wearing jeans and a soft gray sweater instead of armor. Her hair was down. Her feet were bare. She set a travel mug on my desk. Peppermint, I guessed. She shook her head. Coffee. We have a merger proposal to review and a night to do it in. She hopped up to sit on the edge of the desk beside my keyboard. I leaned back in my chair, hands resting lightly on her knees. You realize this is our life now, I said. Board votes, late nights, hot drinks. And you, she said. Do not forget that part, I smiled. And me, I agreed. She lowered her forehead to mine for a second. A quiet touch in a quiet office. I need my husband to warn me when I am about to become the woman who never sleeps again, she said. I need my wife to warn me when I start looking for exits, I replied. Deal, she said. Outside, the city was still cold and sharp. Inside, it was warm. Not because we had beaten every threat, because when the next one comes, we are not standing alone.